If you've taken an online class, you probably know that procrastination is enemy number one. With deadlines seemingly days away, it's easy to wait until the last minute, and then you turn in less than stellar work, or worse, you miss the deadline entirely. In this short presentation, we'll share a few useful tips about procrastination that actually work and give you results with both your grades and your stress level. Number one, first off, it's important to understand why students, and online students in particular, sometimes procrastinate to their own detriment. First of all, since you're not showing up in a regular classroom at a regular time, it's easy to simply put your online class out of your mind. And then when you do get online, there are all of those internet distractions like Instagram, Facebook, and the latest news. Sometimes students procrastinate because they feel overwhelmed, and other times it's simply a lack of motivation. To be clear, we don't mean laziness, but rather a lack of interest in doing the current task. Let's go now to some ways to address this. First, change our mindset. Procrastination is a strange thing because it really makes no sense. It's completely irrational to postpone something because it's still going to take as much time later, plus it's going to be something that you keep worrying about until you get it done. Or you don't get it done at all, and the feeling of being overwhelmed just snowballs. The most important thing is to get started. Don't worry about how good a first draft is or trying to be absolutely perfect. It's that very fear that may keep you from moving forward. So when you change your mindset to see procrastination for what it really is, it becomes a lot easier to just take the first step forward in getting something done. The mental consequences are really worth repeating here. If your procrastination becomes a habit, it can actually affect both your mental and physical health. People can get into a cycle of worrying and regret, and then all of the things that need to get done can feel like too much. This can also make you lose confidence in your own abilities, even when the task is relatively minor. Of course, sometimes we can go through periods of our lives when other things are going on, and this is a good time to ask for help from others if you need it. Moving along. Did you know that some studies show that up to 95% of people procrastinate in some way or another? Often, this is just a response to avoiding doing something that we really don't want to do. Just the word homework can sometimes be associated negatively. But what if you can rethink your perspective on a particular assignment? Instead of looking at it as a chore, pick out some part of it that is useful to you. Perhaps you are in an online history class and you have a discussion question about President Truman's contribution to the Cold War. At first glance, you might think of this as something that you just want to get through and forget about. But instead, take a look at the bigger picture. Let's even start with looking up some Truman quotes. A couple of famous ones are "the buck stops here," and "if you can't convince them, confuse them." This makes Truman a little bit more fascinating, and we can maybe even think about how to apply these quotes to our own lives, eventually tying it back to the question. And then we can get a very positive feeling when we are able to take this one little piece of history that can help inform our decisions today. You can even take that a little further and take a piece that you found interesting and share it with someone else in a conversation. One of the most effective and easiest ways to combat procrastination is the tried and true trick of breaking it into smaller pieces. While writing a 3-page paper tonight may seem like something you'd rather put off, gathering your references and putting them into APA format can take just a short period of time and will get you started. When you do just a little bit each day, you can let go of the stress. And remember to reward yourself in some way after you've put in that 15 minutes with a movie or something that you enjoy. When you do find yourself procrastinating, don't beat yourself up. Just pick up and try to do better next week. Procrastination is very common, and it's a habit that you can work on like many successful people have. While college students are overrepresented among the procrastination population, it may come as a surprise, but some very famous people are alleged procrastinators, including Leonardo da Vinci, who left his paintings unfinished, the Dalai Lama, who says he was a slacker student, but now discourages putting things off, former President Bill Clinton, whose vice president called him punctually challenged, and Apple founder Steve Jobs. So the point here is that many brilliant and creative people have to be mindful of their tendencies to put things off, but often find strategies such as those that we have discussed to better focus. Finally, our last tip. It's important to be forward thinking. Some research shows that those who procrastinate are thinking about today, even though they are putting things off until tomorrow. By this, I mean that they are focused on the rewards of today rather than what happens in a few days when the deadline comes. For example, if I have a paper due next week, I may choose to watch a movie tonight instead of working on my paper, because watching a movie feels more rewarding to me today. But in reality, I need to look at the cost benefit of not working a little bit on my paper today. Essentially, we are talking about time management skills. And if you continually struggle with procrastination, then you may want to look further into resources to help you with time management. As we close out, remember we are here to support you at USG eCore. If you find yourself struggling or getting behind, try to contact your instructor or our eCore support team sooner rather than later. We are on your side. Thank you and good luck.